So I'm here with Ken Pimentel of Autodesk University. Ken, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, I am the Director of Visual Communications Group for Autodesk Media and Entertainment. And in that area, I have coverage over 3ds Max, Showcase, Project Newport, and a few other initiatives.
And at AU this year, you guys have released kind of a new paradigm for Autodesk, or the M&E division, the 4 pillars. And you're talking about what distinguishes visual communication from visualization. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
I think there's a lot of changes happening in the industry around visualization, and what we want to get clearer in the minds of our customers and users is the ideas of visual communication as a distinct element of the visualization process. So when we talk about visual communication, we want it to mean the process of aggregation, of iteration, of narration, and finally of presentation. It's the idea that if you look at all the different ways visualization is applied to workflows in digital prototyping or in BIM, you can strip away a lot of the task-specific things and say, look, what it really comes down to, what's really important is where's the data coming from, and how well is that coming into the visualization product. Once the data is in the product, how easy is it to iterate with it? How quickly can I make changes, evaluate alternative, change of material, be creative with it? Then how effective is it for storytelling? Does it give me the tools to richly express the story behind the design? Because every design has a story to tell in it, and it's unlocking that story or giving people easy tools to express it is at the heart of that part of the process. And finally, once you've built the story, it's the idea of let's now present that story. Let's publish it. It might be a formal presentation, it might be informal, whichever. The Autodesk Visual Communication Group is going to be based on delivering the best solutions focused on those 4 elements.
A lot of changes have happened this year, and in the past the industry has been made up primarily of visualization specialists. Mm-hmm. How is that changing, and how do these 4 pillars kind of fit into that?
So if you look at the users of visualization tools, they're often in 2 basic categories. One are visualization experts, specialists, and these are found in any industry. What distinguishes them is that they're spending close to 80 or 90% of their time using one product for visualization. There's another class of users, and those users are part-time users. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 25% of their time, but it's a lot of variety in how much they know the product, how much time they spend with it, and when they spend that time with the product. So we recognize there are these 2 sets of users, and the way we see things basically rolling out is we want to have 3ds Max positioned for the specialist, make sure it's always delivering the value to the guy who's spending his whole career, maybe all his time at work on that product. And then we're looking at having a Showcase and maybe Project Newport in the future, addressing the needs of the more casual user, where the product needs to be easily picked up, it needs to be learnt over lunch, and it needs to be instantly productive. That's not to say that you can't as a specialist use Newport or Showcase. Of course, that will be one more tool in the hands of a specialist to do amazing things.
Mm-hmm. There's people right now who are the specialists. Most of their focus has been on the pretty picture. Mm-hmm. What can you say to those people moving forward? Is that going to be a reality in the future, or do they need to start looking at different
Yes, I think you raise a very good point. Fundamentally, there are some structural changes occurring in the industry where GPUs are coming to market that represent, a 10x, 20x, 30x improvement over hardware that was just shipping just 2 years ago. And as software vendors are leaping to take advantage of that processing power, we're seeing breakthrough solutions to solve the problem of rendering. And one of them, as you're aware of, is, for example, iRay from Mental Images. And that technology not only simplifies the process of rendering, so it's almost a digital camera, it's point and click, but it's also super fast and scales with your hardware. So if your business model was, well, I'm going to provide photoreal images, it's going to be soon the situation where that's just a commodity that every product offers. And so we need to get our users aware of these fundamental shifts. So we've started something called the rendering revolution on the area, and that will start getting, hopefully, people to think about these changes and using these tools initially, because a lot of them are centered around 3ds Max, but also start getting them thinking about animation workflows or where they can add more value than just a static image, because I think that's really going to get commoditized very quickly, much as how digital cameras rolled through and eliminated the need for film.
And what sort of time frame do you envision this happening in?
I think it's the next 18 months. I mean, it's going to roll. These changes will roll through as the hardware comes out. People start adopting it. Once it's in your laptop, it really unlocks the volume opportunity, and that really drives a lot of the software suppliers to start harnessing this power when it's widespread enough. So it's still kind of early adopter-ish in some cases right now, but we all know how GPUs have played out historically, and it's soon going to be in a laptop near you.
So as renderings become more democratized, where can rendering specialists and specialist studios and even internal architectural departments, what sort of other verticals and areas in the industry should they be looking to grow?
Well, I think anybody that has developed a look or is associated with a look, I think they're fine. People will seek them out because they provide a unique perspective in how to tell a story. I think the static imagery. It's really going. It's you can do it with static imagery, of course, but it might get harder to retain your added value there. So I think it's the move to let's figure out how to express a design most clearly, most compelling through animation techniques, and maybe other kinds of effects that you'd apply to these storytelling problems. I think that's where I think the first shift can occur. I think there's some other things that can be done on top of that. Maybe things that help some of the interactive things, helping customers set up an interactive workflow, like using Showcase, or things like Project Newport in the future, and being an expert on how best to leverage those tools.
So in the past, real estate developers and architects have been visualization specialists, primary clients. Do you think there are any other clients of Autodesk that you think that they should be looking to, other verticals that they should look to that you think they would?
Yes, that's a good point. I think that there's one of the things that this disruptive event, the rendering revolution, causes. It means that a lot of people that could never use these technologies will start using them. So it's not just that we're limited to the pool of users that have been using visualization. What it opens up is a whole bunch of other people that want to go further with visualization. So, for example, an architect firm where static images might be enough in the past, all their competition will have static images, right? So they're not going to be able to compete on that level. So they're going to demand more from their visualization tools and capabilities and their consultants that service that industry. And so I think it's a net positive thing because everyone is going to be wanting to add value, and they're going to look for other ways to do that.